Hi there. Welcome to 90% Knitting. Nice to see you. See, it's better if you can't see my hands. Oh my gosh. Are these not the silliest things? I'm Lisa, also known as fibernymph. This is episode 376, October 5th, Tuesday. That was all out of order. I can't tell you how much joy I've been getting out of these skeleton hands. Dollar Tree. No, Dollar General. $1. There's technically salad tongs, but I have been using them just to be totally weird and bizarre to everybody. The cats like them though. Like I'll pet the cats with them and they love it. 4 out of 5 cats love it. I sometimes come up behind Bill and pat his head. He tolerates it. Anyway, who says money cannot buy happiness? $1 has brought me much joy since I got these. Okay, I'll stop playing with my skeleton hands now for a bit. I can't promise that they will not show up again before the episode's over. I'm drinking some maple pecan black tea from Plum Deluxe Teas today. And my mug is the Acme Food and Beverage Company extra special 100% genuine mug. Bill had a bunch of these. We live in Acme, like that's our address is Acme, PA. And so he had some of these mugs. It's kind of cool. They do not do well in the dishwasher though. Like part of the Roadrunner's head is kind of washed off there. But anyway, so tea, it's actually kind of stuffy in here. I had planned to record outside today because it's a gorgeous day. It's a little cloudy right now, but it's nice out. It's mid-60s. However, it apparently rained last night, and I did not know that. And I looked out this morning, and everything on the deck was soaked. And I said to Bill, I'm like, oh, it looks like it rained. And he's like, I think it was just a heavy dew because it was really foggy this morning. I'm like, I don't know about that. It's an awful lot of moisture out there for dew, but whatever. And so now it's like probably around 12:30, and it's still very wet out. So I don't think it was just dew. So the deck's totally wet. Couldn't sit out there at that furniture. And I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll go out like to the front yard because it's not a particularly busy time of day on our road, so there wouldn't be that much noise. However, one of our neighbors somewhere around here, and it's not like right next door, I can tell it's a little bit more distant, they're playing really loud music. Like not loud music, but music that they're playing very loudly. And you can tell it's carrying for quite a distance. And I'm like, what in the world? Because nobody ever does that up here. And I'm not even sure what genre it is, to tell you the truth. It was very kind of ethereal, but not in a good and calming way. It was a little weird. I don't know. So I thought I can't record outside because that'll just be in the background. So I'm in here because Bill's out not working today. He took today off as a vacation day. He and a friend took a motorcycle ride to visit another friend who lives a couple of hours away. And so he's gone all day, and which is great because he needs to use up vacation time and he needs to take time off. So that's exciting that he's doing that today and having fun. And Emma's at work. So anyway, but I can use this room today since Bill's not here. Although I wonder if I hope it doesn't sound too echoey because none of the windows are open because it's been kind of chilly in here, you know, in the mornings, and he's needed to be warm. Anyway, whatever. We're here today. I was all nice and zhuzhed up though in this pretty shawl that I had on when I thought I was going outside. It's way too warm to wear a shawl today though, so no shawl. Just skeleton hands. Okay. Let's get started. Today I only have 2 projects to show you. I know, right? Well, I showed you how many last time. Which, by the way, the last time I recorded was the day before my birthday. Thank you so much for all of my happy birthday wishes. That was so kind of everybody. I really appreciate it. I had a very nice birthday. It was very quiet because it was a Monday. It wasn't like we were going to do much of anything. We did go out to dinner that night. so I didn't have to cook. What else? Oh, Bill got me these earrings. See these earrings? They're Labradorite. I love Labradorite. It's like one of my favorite stones. Anyway, so new earrings. But yeah, so the last time I recorded, you saw all those finished objects and all those works in progress, like all the socks all the time, which in retrospect, that was actually kind of good planning because it's now October and that means it's Socktober. And I used to be really, really into Socktober sock knitting back in the day, like the earlier days of my knitting career. Not a career, but anyway, back when I first started knitting, I used to take part in Socktober a lot more than I do now. Like, I don't always even remember that it's Socktober, to tell you the truth. But since I cast on so many socks and was working on so many socks last time, I think that'll carry me through October quite nicely. But I do have one more finished pair of socks to show you, and it's these Serendipitous shorty socks that I had started. I was having a hard time remembering when I had started them. I believe I started them, I looked it up and now I'm not remembering again. I started them at the beginning of August, which would have been, we went canoeing in July, so August would have been when we went away to Maine, right? I'm pretty sure. Okay, whatever. The first sock, which this is the first one, I started before we went on a trip, hardly worked on it. So came home, finally finished that one. I think I was working on this when I showed it to you last time. So, oh, I was hearing weird noises again. Oh my gosh. It's the dishwasher. I forgot I started the dishwasher before I came out here. Just making some really loud squelchy noises. I hope there's nothing wrong. Anyway, so I finished the first sock and I've done the second sock. And the second sock took me next to no time at all. I did have some car knitting time for the second sock too. So that helped. But anyway, yeah, so they're done. The second sock is the third in a set of what I'm calling second socks. So I had my second pigskin party colorway, No Place Like Home, had that sock. My second autumn palette pie sock, and then this second sock. All three of those socks were knit after the beginning of the pigskin party, so that I'm using that as all one project, which is allowable. So my second sock project is now finished, but I also have this finished pair. This is my bronzed sparkle base. So I'm not sure, again, it's not one that shows up super well on camera. The bronze, compared to the silver stellina, the bronze stellina is very, very subtle. It's there, and in certain light you can really, really see it well. But I don't think I'm going to be able to get it to show up really well here on the camera for you. I mean, I can see it in person, but this light's just going to kind of blow it out. So anyway, so this was one of my Serendipitous stripes colorways, and I just did my normal, actually this is not a 60 stitch sock, this is a 64 stitch sock because I did 2x2 rib, which is weird for me. I usually do 2x1 rib, but for some reason I did 2x2 rib on these socks. So they're just my normal shorty sock recipe. I do about 18 or 19 rows in the cuff, and then I do an 18 row, is it 18 or 16? I don't know. I have the pattern on my shorty sock, one of my shorty sock pages from last year when I was doing all those shorty socks, the mismatched shorties, for the heel flap, and then I do, you know, heel turn, gusset, whatever. Anyway, so they are done, but I did carry the 2x2 ribbing down the instep. So I have another pair of shorty socks I can wear. Yay! I do love my shorty socks. That's my only finished object this week. However, I do have a work in progress that, if I would have waited a couple more days, would probably be a finished object. And it's also a new cast on. So you remember last time I was talking about my up and coming project was going to be the Love Note pullover by Tin Can Knits, and I was going to knit it out of my Harvest Moon colorway that I had dyed up on Sunshine and Floof, which I also put in the shop for last week's update. There's still some in there, as well as 3 other colors I did end up dyeing the gray, so there's soot gray in there, and then the goth purple and toxic green. So there's some of all of them left at this point. However, I used Harvest Moon, and I'm almost done with this sweater. I cast it on either the same day I recorded last time or the very next day. Probably the very next day. But look at it. I've got the whole body done. All I have to do is the sleeves. I will put a picture in here. I tried it on this morning after I had finished the neckline. I am so happy with how this sweater is turning out. Oh my goodness. This, I know this could probably curse me or jinx things here, but so far I feel like this is the best sweater I have ever knit as far as fit. Oh my goodness, it's going so well. So let me talk to you about this. Obviously it's got the lace and you're holding the fingering and the mohair double. So here's one of my ends. You can see all the fuzzy. So this is not without its modifications, which you probably could have guessed that if you've watched me knit sweaters for any amount of time. I decided, all right, so let me grab the pattern here. I don't have a, here's a picture of it from the pattern, but I printed it out in black and white, so you can't see it super well. Anyway, okay, Love Note sweater by Tin Can Knits. I made the large size. Now the pattern tells you to pick a size that has between 4 and 12 inches of positive ease relative to your size, your chest measurement. So the large, the chest measurement size is 48.5 inches. I am a 46-inch bust. I do not want 4 to 12 inches of positive ease in this sweater. So that was going to give me, what, 2.5 inches of positive ease. And I'll tell you what, it fits perfectly. So I picked the large. What I did end up doing, the recommended needle size was a 10. I knit the top, the yoke part, with 9s instead. So I started here. I cast on just using a regular long-tailed cast on. The pattern actually calls for doing a provisional cast on. I did not read the pattern well enough to catch that little fact, and I'm glad I didn't, because I feel like having that cast on edge is giving it a lot more stability, because as you read through the pattern, it does say that the thing that's going to make this sweater stay up on you where you want it to be is all dependent upon your bind off edge of your collar of the neckband, which I think is asking a whole lot from a neckband, to tell you the truth. But it's not a super heavyweight sweater either. It's pretty lightweight. Still, I like having that stability of that cast on edge. So when I did the neckline this morning, I just picked up each stitch along that cast on edge, and it's fine. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, so I knit the top with 9s instead of 10s, mainly because I just know that I tend to be a little bit loose. I did not gauge swatch. I know, bad, but you know what? I was willing to risk it, and it's turned out great. And as it is, I did check gauge as I was going down, and I had gauge with the 9. Oh, now I have mohair in my eyeballs. Sorry. So I flew through this sweater. It took no time at all to get to the lace section, and as I was knitting the lace, I went like gangbusters. It took me maybe 2 days, like 2 mornings to get through, well, morning and evening was when I was working on it, but I made no mistakes. Like, I never got to the end of a section of lace, because I did put stitch markers in like after I would say every 3 to 4 repeats of the lace, so I would be able to catch if I was making mistakes. I never made any mistakes. Oh my gosh, it's unheard of, because inevitably you end up with like an extra stitch or not enough stitches or something because you forget a yarn over or what have you. But no, it turned out great. So I got through the lace. Then after you're done with the lace, you do these raglan increases. There's a short bit of raglan increases. And then the pattern has you moving straight from that into separating for your sleeves. I I will say I tried this on multiple times as I was knitting it. I tried it on immediately after being done with the lace, and then I tried it on again after the raglan increases, and I was pretty sure based on the measurements in the schematic and the measurements that I was getting that I was going to want a little more length before dividing for the sleeves. And when I tried it on, that was indeed the case. So I knit, I think I knit like 5 or 6 rounds straight before separating for the sleeves. And that gave me the length that I want. And so then after I knit a couple inches on the body, I tried it on again, and it feels like it's going to fit perfectly once I have the sleeves knit into it. I did switch needles after I was done. Once I separated the sleeves out, I did go up to a 10. So I knit the body on a 10 because often with sweaters, I will knit the yoke in a smaller size and then go up one size for the body because, again, I've said this all the time, I carry my weight like in my middle tummy and I don't like things to be super clingy right there. However, there was a lot of stitch difference between the large and the extra large. I think there was like 40 some stitches, and I was not going to add 40 stitches to this in any way. So I just went up a needle size, and I feel like that worked well because it's very comfortable. It's not clingy, and it fits really well. Now, there is no shaping in this. It's just straight down, which again, I would have probably done that even if there was shaping in the pattern because I like that kind of a fit. The next modification I made though was in the length because this sweater is written to be a cropped sweater. It gives 2 lengths. There's the cropped version and then what they call the regular version. The regular version still is cropped as far as I'm concerned. I think it's about 8.5 inches from the armhole down is where they wanted you to stop for the body. That would be way too short for me. I knit my body 12.5 inches from the underarm down before I started doing the ribbing. So, and I'm very happy with that length. I think it looks good. I know the picture wasn't super clear because I was wearing my pajama bottoms in that picture, so that doesn't really designate where your waist is or anything, but trust me, it feels good. So then the next modification I made is I omitted the high-low hem because the pattern has you doing short rows to make the back longer than the front. I don't really care for that look much. So that's another reason why I did make it longer just the whole way around. And then when I went to do the ribbing, I did go down to, let's see, I was on 10s. I went down to 8s for the ribbing. The pattern called for going down to 7s. For some reason, my head had me thinking it was telling me to go down to 5s though, which I thought was insane. And it was because that's not what the pattern said anyway, but I went down to 8s instead, because I did not want my ribbing to pull in a lot. And to that end, I did a split hem instead of a hem the whole way around, the way the pattern's written. So I've got a split hem at the bottom. I love split hems. You get the ribbing effect without that pulling in at the bottom of your sweater. Love it. And again, I'm so happy with how that fits. So after I finished my split hem, I decided I would do the neckline before the sleeves. The pattern has you doing the neckline very last. But since, again, the sweater is meant to be, like, you need your neckline to be stable before you knit your sleeves. That's how I feel, because especially in this case, when they're saying your neckline is what's holding your sweater where you want it, how long do you know to knit the sleeves? You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like it'll be better off to do the sleeves now that I have the neckline done. So I went ahead and I used what size did I use for the neckline? I used a 6 because, again, I thought they were telling me to use a 5. They were really telling me to use a 7, but the 6 worked great. And again, I think that's partly because I'm sort of a loose knitter. So I used a 6 and I picked up, right in line with all of those. I think it looks great. Something I added, which I do have a spot that looks a little wonky, but I think once I tighten things up and weave in ends, it'll be okay. Like right there in the center of my back. I did do 6 short rows, a series of 6 short rows from here to here. That gave me about an inch of rise in the back because this was sitting quite low on my neck. The pattern does not say to do that, but I chose to do that. And I'm glad I did. So I could have probably done another 2 rows, I think, but this is fine. So I did my short rows, and then I started doing my 1x1 rib. I did 6 rows instead of, I think they only told you to do 5. I did 6 rows and then bound off, and I'm so happy with it. This neckline fits perfectly. Another modification I made in the neckline though is I did not do the decreases that the pattern has you doing. If I would have done that, it would have been like a crew neck on me. It would have been very, very snug, and I didn't want that. I'm really happy with the size just as it is. I think the smaller needle probably helped, and no decreases, just the ribbing. And I bound off. I didn't bind off snugly. I've got a good bit of stretch, but it's firm. So between having the cast on edge there as some stability and then that bind off edge, I'm really happy with how that fits at the top. So now all I have to do is my sleeves. And I didn't want to rush into them because I'm not 100% sure how long I'm going to make them. I've seen different pictures of different versions of this sweater. Some people put like very short sleeves on. The pattern is written to do about a sleeve that comes to about here. About here. Here. These are not anatomically correct. I mean, look at these hands. The hand is the same size as the forearm and the upper arm. I mean, we've got some anatomical issues with these hands, but still, they're fun. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to try on a few of my sweaters that have different lengths just to see where I think I'm going to want the sleeves on this, because this is such a nice lightweight sweater. I could see myself doing sleeves down to here, but I don't know. I mean, this will definitely be warm. That mohair gives it a good bit of warmth. So I could see myself wearing it through the colder months, especially if there's something under it. I would totally wear this without anything under it, even though it's got this lace across here, just with a bra on. I don't think it looks bad. It's not like you're flashing the world, and you've got that fuzziness that's kind of, making things hazy there. But I would wear it, but like definitely in the colder months, you'd probably want, another layer under there, even if it's just a cami or something. So I don't know. But I really think that once I decide, I'm going to whip those sleeves out and we're going to be done. And I will have a finished sweater to show you next time. That is my hope. I could not be happy with how this project has turned out. I mean, I keep saying that to myself and thinking it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope like at the very end I don't mess something up. Like I hope it doesn't turn out to be like the sleeves on that red sweater that I keep forgetting the name of. That has been languishing for a year, probably close to. No, not a year, but it's been languishing. Yeah, I don't know. This has just turned out so well. And what's shocking about that, kind of, is the fact that when this sweater came out a couple years ago, and I saw it, it was never a sweater that I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to make that. I love that. It was, I was like, oh, it's cute, but it wasn't like my style. Number one, holding the fingering weight with the mohair didn't excite me because I thought that looks like it would be really warm, and I tend to run warm anyway. The times I've tried it on, though, I have not felt like I'm sweating to death in it even for a few minutes, because some sweaters you can feel that way pretty quickly, especially if it's not super cold. It's very comfortable and it's not itchy. Like this is my Floof base, and it's such a nice soft mohair. It's not like the mohair sweaters of the 80s that were kind of, it's such a nice mohair. So I'm not worried about it being itchy. I just didn't want it to be too hot, but I don't think it will be. I think it'll be fine. But the other thing was I don't knit a lot of lace. I'm much more a cable person than I am a lace person. But this lace was a joy to knit. It really was. And I like it. I think it's pretty. It's feminine without being really over the top feminine, because I'm not. I'm not an over the top feminine kind of gal. I'm just not. And that's fine because that's not my style, but like I don't feel like this will be an out of place sweater for me to wear either in my wardrobe. Anyway, that's the Love Note by Tin Can Knits, made out of my Sunshine and Floof base in the Harvest Moon colorway. And I am so happy with this colorway. Oh my gosh. I just love how this looks. You don't really see, like, there's so many undertones going on in this. I just love how this color turned out. Anyway. Okay. I'll stop gushing about my sweater. But I do hope to have it done by the time I talk to you next. All right, so those are the only projects. Let me see, where's all my, what in the world? Oh, I know what that is. Sorry. Okay, those are the only two projects that I have really worked on since I talked to you last. I probably worked a little bit on some other socks. I know I put on in some more rounds on my Hobbit Day socks, but not a lot. The next sock I'm going to focus on finishing up are the Gothic Forest socks that I showed you last time that I'm knitting for Emma, because I feel like I need to knit her something since I did not get either of the summer tops done for her that she had asked for, and I feel kind of bad about that. She's fine with it, but you know, I feel like I owe her something, so I'm going to definitely try to get those socks done for her. And she has picked out a fall sweater. Well, it's a Halloween sweater, but I know my daughter and she will wear it like all winter long. She wanted a colorwork sweater that I think she said she saw it when she was sitting in on the Pigskin Party kickoff Zoom that I did, because she was helping me keep track of some things when I was doing giveaways. And so she was looking at links of things that people were sharing for sweaters. And she came up with this one. I didn't remember seeing it, but it's called the Superstitious Pullover by Michael Shawn. I will try to put a picture in here from Ravelry just so that you can get an idea. I bought the pattern and downloaded it, and the pattern file calls it the Sanderson sweater. So I guess he renamed it. Maybe there was some sort of copyright issue or something. But some of the elements on it are the three witches from the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus. And there's a whole bunch of different motifs that you can put in there. I have not read through this pattern yet to know exactly like how you choose them. I don't know what elements Emma really wants in it. I don't really want to show you the charts, but there's at least three witches. There's some cats, there's some spider webs, there's some witches on brooms, and then there is also some text. What is the text? Bewitched, spooky, witchy, and then I think there are charts to spell out Hocus Pocus too if you want. Yeah. I don't think she'll really go with the whole Sanderson Hocus Pocus theme, because that's not a movie that she's super into. There are other Halloween movies she likes better than that one. Matter of fact, I think last year when I watched it was also the first time she had ever seen it. So I think she's probably going to go with the bats. There's a bat chart, cats, spider webs, and maybe spooky or something like the words. So anyway, I have to get with her now that I have the pattern, and we have to pick colors, and I'm going to be dyeing up some of my Ridgetop DK to make this, because it does call for a DK weight yarn, and I can pretty much make whatever colors that she wants for it. So that's our plan for that. And the good thing about this too is that Emma is way smaller than me when it comes to sweater knitting. Let's see, how many sizes are there? 4, 8. There's 10 sizes, and I'll probably be making the third size for her. So I think it should go fairly quickly, even though it is color work. It's DK weight color work. So I think that one will probably turn around pretty quickly. So I'm looking forward to starting that for her. So a sweater and a pair of socks, that should, make up for the fact that I bought yarn for 2 different tops. Actually, I bought 2 kinds of yarn for one of the tops and then never made either of them this summer. But at least I have it. I can make them for her next year. Anyhow, so that's my up and coming. And like I said, I'll probably just work on the socks that I cast on in the last couple of weeks that you already saw, because it's October and socks are easy projects to work on here. But my sweater is coming first. I'm going to finish my sleeves, then I'll start working on Emma's sweater. So, okay, let's move along. And then talk about the nature make-alongs. We're in the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter of the nature make-alongs is October and November, and the theme is sky. So anything that you want to make that you can somehow relate to the theme of sky, whether it's the color, things that you see in the sky, things that remind you of the sky, a pattern name that has something to do with the sky, anything related to the sky is fair game. As long as you can tell me what your connection is, it's great. So that's what's coming up, but I do have prizes to announce for the third quarter. So the third quarter was the sea quarter, so anything having to do with sea or water or ponds or rivers, etc. And so I did do the prize drawings before I started, but let me show you what the prize options are first. Since we have 2 prize winners, there are 3 prize options. So first come, first serve. If you are one of the winners, please email me, fibernymph@gmail.com, and let me know what your top 2 prize choices are, along with your mailing information, and I'll get your prize out to you. The first choice, I thought we would go with fallish kind of things. The first one is a leaf pile on my bounce base, so that's self-striping. 5 leafy stripes. The next one is the Goth Purple and Harvest Moon color inversibles, also on bounce. So this is Halloweenish, but it's also, I just think it's a nice fall combination, frankly. And then the last one is definitely a Halloweeny one. It's my Halloweeny colored mini skeins, and this is on bedazzled. So you've got the sparkle going on there for Halloween. So those are the 3 prize options. Again, if you're one of the winners, email me, let me know what your top 2 prize choices are, and give me your mailing address, and I will get whichever one is available out to you. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so the winners. We have 1 winner from the chatter thread and 1 winner from the finished object entry forms that were submitted. So we'll do the chatter thread first. We had posts 1,095 through 1,363 come in September and in August and September. And random number generator chose post 1,199, and that is Knits and Pearls, who is Carol. So congratulations, Carol. Please, again, email me. Let me know what your top 2 prize choices are there, and I will get that sent out to you. And so in the finished object entry forms that were submitted, there were 32 that were entered. I put the 1 through 32 into random number generator, and it chose number 10, which on that list is Kathy Frazier. And she had submitted for her Deep Ocean Waves cowl, which is a picture of in the chatter thread too. You can see it there. So congratulations, Kathy. Get in touch with me. Let me know what your top 2 prize choices are, and I will get one of those sent out to you. So thank you both for participating. Thank you to everybody who participated. I say that all the time. I love seeing all your things. I love reading the chatter. I try to keep up with it, but sometimes you guys are prolific and I'm not on my computer as much as I need to be. But yeah, so we're in that last quarter now, and I'm really looking forward to getting this finished up and seeing what you guys make for sky. Yeah, and if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. What was I going to say? I had a thought. It just left me. Oh, I was just going to say, it's never too late to join in. If you want to join in for this final quarter, even though you haven't, taken part in previous quarters, you're more than welcome to do that. All of the guidelines for the make-along are in the very first post in the chatter thread, so you can look there, read through those, and have fun with it. I know I mentioned last time that I wasn't sure what I was going to do for next year. We aren't going to be doing a nature make-along again. I don't know what we're going to do. I know I told you last time I didn't feel like I had it in me to do a year-long make-along, although I've been thinking about it some more. I'm like, sometimes the year-long ones are sort of the easier ones to do because I don't have to keep coming up with new ideas. So I'm still pondering that. We will definitely be doing something. My thing is I just want to keep it low-key, both for you guys and for me, because I feel like sometimes those are the most fun. I'm more interested in us being able to have the community interaction in the Ravelry group, or you know, in the comments thread on the blog, although that really has not been used at all this year. So I don't know if that's just not a viable option for everybody. I don't know. So anyway, but that's my thought right now. So my thought is that I'm still thinking about next year, but I will let you know as soon as I figure out what it is that I want to do next year. Okay, that's everything for 90%. We're gonna pop into shop news real quick here. I don't have a lot to announce for shop news. The state of the studio basically is the first Encore Club shipment went out last week, so you should have received that by now, or, well, who knows with the mail what it is. Oh my gosh, I can't believe they've slowed the mail down again. Like, shipping is taking longer. Don't get me started there. I think we've got at least 1 or 2 people out of the country, so yours might not have come yet, but you should be getting it soon. I did have my Halloween colorways update last Friday. There are still some things in the shop, so if you didn't get a chance to get to the shop during the update, you can still check it out. There are, you know, Halloween colorways. There's still some of the Sunshine and Floof left. There are mini sets. Yeah, there's a little bit of everything. There's also some of my fall colorways that I put up the update before that. Those are still left. I think a few of them still have some special or like dye to order options for them. As I told you last time, I'm not adding dye to order for the Halloween colorways just because I'm not going to be able to get them turned around in time for you to be able to get them in time for Halloween. But yeah, and I am kind of putting on hold, taking on too many more special orders right now, unless you're okay with them not getting shipped out until sometime like mid to late November, because this October is just a really, really busy month. As I said before, I'll be spending most of October focusing on getting the Winter Magical collections finished up and shipped out. Matter of fact, they will ship out 1 month from today. I feel like today is my take a big breath day in that respect, because October always ends up being a busy month getting those put together. Like I said, I think I said this before too. I know, I feel like I'm repeating myself. I feel like I'm in a really good place with them this year. I feel like I had to be, because I think more of them sold this year, the collections, than have ever sold in the past. So I knew I really had to be on top of things. So I'm feeling really good about how things are going. If you did order one of the full collections, you can start looking for one of the first of the 4 newsletters that was going to be a part of that. That will be going out this week. So you will get basically 1 Winter Magical newsletter each week between now and when they ship out. That's the plan. So you can look for that. If you don't start getting them though, let me know and I can check to see if you are on the list. I had to, that's been a long job, just getting the newsletter thing set up just for the Winter Magical people. But anyway, that's for anybody who ordered the whole collection. What else? I am planning to put things in the shop during the month of October. It just won't be a regular update. I'm hoping that I will be able to put maybe some serendipitous stripes this month. I have some yarn bases that I'm going to be dyeing up in semi-solids and putting in the shop that I'll talk a little bit more about once I get to that point. I'm thinking about dyeing up the rest of my ridge top that I have in my inventory. I don't have a lot of it left, and I've mostly just been using it for custom orders that come in. I haven't been getting as many lately though. And since I've had that yarn sitting down there for a couple of years, because I dyed a lot of my ridge top for shows, but since I haven't been doing shows the past couple of years now, or the past 18 months anyway, I'm not dyeing it for the show. So I am thinking about just dyeing up what I have left and putting it in the shop. I have been trying to get in touch with my mill that mills it for me to see what the status is of me being able to get a new shipment of it in the new year, but I have not heard back from them yet, and I haven't talked to them since prior to the pandemic, so I don't know what is going on there. I'm hopeful to be able to continue carrying my ridge top base. I love it. Personally, I love it. But I know a lot of you really enjoy it too. So we'll see, but stay tuned. And again, I always say this, another repeat, but the newsletter is the best way to stay on top of what's happening in the shop. If you're not already subscribed to the newsletter, go ahead and do that. Just go to fibernymph.com. There's a link at the top or the very bottom of each page where you can sign up for the newsletter. But that's the best way to know what's happening in the shop. So anyway, I think that's everything for shop news. And lastly, what's bringing me joy this week? Let me take a drink. Well, the few days that I'm going to have this week home alone are definitely bringing me joy, since I haven't had too many of those in the last 18 months. Today is one of them. And then Bill has to be out in the field Thursday and Friday, and Emma will be at work. So I'll have 2 more days this week where I get to be home alone. I don't know why I make such a big deal out of it. It's a different vibe in the house, when nobody else is around. I love having my family around, but I also enjoy just having my space sometimes. The fall colors are really starting to show. Oh my gosh, I'm loving it. I would say in the last week, suddenly the trees have started to turn. Bill and I, where did we go? We went somewhere. I forget where we went. Oh, on Sunday we went about 45 minutes away. We got our flu shots and we got our COVID booster shots. Both of us qualify for the COVID booster due to health issues. And so, yeah, double whammy. We got both shots. One in one arm, one in the other. It was fun. I was like a little tired yesterday, but I usually feel that way after my flu shot. And I didn't have any side effects from my second COVID shot, so I don't think it was COVID shot related. So anyway, I feel fine today, so that's all good. I feel really good about having those out of the way, though, especially as we're going into the cold weather season. But anyway, as we were driving to that was when I really realized that the trees are really starting to turn and get really pretty. And I was kind of worried because they hadn't been turning, and some had been looking a little brown. And I thought, well, maybe we just didn't have enough. They say if you don't get enough rain, or if it's a particularly dry summer, it's not going to be a bright fall. But we're getting a bright fall, and I'm so excited. And it always makes my heart a little bit warm too, because aside from just loving fall, when Bill and I first started to date, the very first time I came to visit him here at the house was towards the end of October. And as I was driving out this way, I had been familiar with this area all my life, because there's a lot of parks and things that I would come to over the years, but I had never driven back into this particular area. And as I was driving back this road, and I came around, going down this hill and around this one bend on our road, this whole big vista opens up, and it was just all fall colors. And I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like, he's got to be the one. Kidding. I love you for your scenic vistas in the fall. No, it was just a happy perk. So anyway, whenever I start to see the trees turning, and I come around that particular bend every fall, I'm like, oh, it just brings back so many happy memories. Yeah, I'm feeling really good about things right now. The new moon cycle starts tomorrow. We've got the new moon, I think at 7:05 or 7:06 tomorrow morning here where I live anyway. So I always look forward to new moon cycles when that energy is building. And I just have the feeling it's going to be a really good month. I don't know. I'm feeling good about where life is right now. Of course, that's always subject to change, but we're not going to put that out there. It's going to be a really good month, and I hope it is for you too. I hope you guys are doing really well. I would love to hear what's bringing you joy right now. Are you enjoying the fall weather where you are? Yeah, what projects are bringing you joy? Are you having fun? Are you going to take part in the nature make-along for October and November? I'd love to know what you're going to do. So feel free to leave comments here on the YouTube video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you know whenever I put up a new video. Since, I usually record twice a month. I'm not doing Vlogtober, obviously. I saw the Vlogtober videos start to pop up from some people, which is always fun, but I've never done Vlogtober. I don't know if I'm going to do, what's the one in December? I don't know. Can't even remember the name of it. I don't know if I'm going to do that this year or not. We'll see. But yeah, I hope you're having a really nice fall so far. And I hope you're finding things that are bringing you joy. And I will talk to you again probably in a couple of weeks. And we'll see where things are. So take care. And I love you guys. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Bye.